Well, howdy. This is Seven Shades, and I am here with not a live battle, it's a recorded battle, multiplayer battle between myself and Hussars. When we were selecting armies, I saw that he picked Dwarves, and a little bit concerned, thinking that there were going to be a lot of gyrocopters, but we'll just slow it down for a sec, have a look. So basically, this is my opponent's army here. He's got Grombrindle, a line of relatively fantastic, in comparison to mine, infantry. Ironbreakers, obviously going to be throwing satchel charges at some point, and you know, these Thunderers up the top here have got fantastic field of fire. Certainly nothing's going to be obstructing them, so they're going to be able to throw down Dawi lead all day long down the hill. Slayers on the left of me, Slayers to the right, or the other way around, and Hammerers obviously being held in reserve for some good time smashing. So having not being able to really see what was sitting outside the forest, I've sent some fell bats out to go have a look. I was happy-ish as to what I saw. I thought there was going to be, in preparation for vampires, I think most vampire users have larger units like, you know, the Claw of Nagash, and Vargovs don't really get out much, but certainly large units, and certainly Blood Knights and things like that. So I was expecting more, you know, cannons, organ guns, rangers, all that sort of stuff. So my worst nightmare hadn't really come true. It's still going to be a hard fight. Now I feel that possibly I'm certainly not the best player out there by a long shot, and I think Hussars would probably be a fairly low ranked player as well, just on some of the things that go on through the match. I'll hopefully be able to point those out. If you've got any suggestions on how I can play better, I'm happy to hear them, because like I say, I suck pretty badly. This channel will probably make you feel slightly better about yourself in general, simply because my gaming rig is fairly modest, my internet is fairly modest, my ability is fairly modest, and so is this channel. So this is going to be pretty good. You'll feel better about yourself, guaranteed, after watching one of these movies or videos. So alright, so let's get it going. So doing some scouting with the fell bats. I mean, if you're really keen, you probably could have pointed the Thunderers in that direction, maybe gotten a few lucky shots, but just that usual inspection of what's going on, because there's nothing worse than finding that, oh yes, there is a cannon battery behind the hill that you couldn't see, and then as you come over here, it just appears and starts putting holes in your undead horde. So we've got the zombies. You know, this is very much previously on AMC's The Walking Dead. Other thing I've noticed recently, though, is the chaps that they're wearing. I mean, sure, that's period costume, but the little codpiece is somewhat concerning. And I mean, really, once it's been seen, it cannot be unseen. So yeah, zombies coming out of the forest, a bit like that first part of Gladiator, where all the barbarians come out of the forest. There's obviously a lot less fire going on at the moment, but yeah, so Graveguard with great weapons. These guys looking suitably stern, Sternsman. Oh, yep, you'll also feel better about your sense of humour. So, and somewhere in the shadowy underrealm of the forest here, there are some Blood Knights and a Vargolf hiding somewhere. Anyway, the dire pack's also up here, and yeah, I thought, I mean, the dire pack's never going to be terribly useful against armoured units, and all the dwarf units are very much armoured. I mean, I think 80s. Oh, okay, except for the Slayers. So the rationale initially was, I'll get the dire pack to sick these guys, but it's probably not going to work out terribly well. The other thing you need to notice here as well is that by default all the units are set to auto fire, so or fire at will. So you're going to have Thunderers basically shooting into zombies, which is fine, But your Iron Breakers only have 2 sets of satchel charges, which are horrifically good when they're going. But you'll see that the satchel charges get wasted a lot on the zombies. So we'll see how we go. Brains. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So we got the zombies walking through the fire, which is pretty cool. And the Grave Guard coming through the fire, bit Terminator 2-y. Except perhaps for that guy who got smashed. Up here, the die pack coming in to bother the Slayers. And I mean, it was good rear charge, but oh, they get walloped pretty quickly. I think the die pack may count as large, quite possibly. So, possibly. But regardless, Slayers don't muck about, get smashed pretty badly. So battle's joined at the front here, as you can see. I think what happened was Vlad got off a Wind of Death, went along the front. So in come these are more the hammer parts of the army. The idea was that the zombies, Grave Guard, etc. are going to be the anvil, and these are going to be more dynamic elements of the army. So, but the problem is we're charging uphill, so it's not quite as good. I think I was also charging into Slayers initially, and then these guys got in the road, so that's fine. Vargolf, the idea was the Vargolf should be running around where it's needed, clobbering, and not getting into a prolonged fight with Slayers and Hammerers, so using our own guys was sort of escaping there. Vlad was wearing it, but the Thunderers have come down for no apparent reason, and they're going to get themselves into a rather messy situation down here, where it's close enough for the Vargolf to come in and make life difficult. You can get summoned zombies put on top of you. You've got Vlad, who's fantastic in melee. So, yeah. And if they're almost full, they've only had maybe 1 or 2 shots. So, here comes the Vargolf. Thanks very much. And yeah, it starts laying waste into them. So, I think possibly a missed micro there from my opponent. Really should have been up the top there, because look, you could have just been shooting the Sternsman all day, or anything, targets of value. Blood Knights still doing pretty well, just trying to make life difficult for the Thunderers, and zombies are sort of obviously stopping them from firing, though they weren't firing that much in the first place. This side of the battle's going particularly badly. Hammerers are doing what they do, they hammer stuff into smithereens, and Grave Guard are never going to really stand up against that massive Dwarven infantry. Also not looking good there for the great weapons, but I guess we're making some sort of progress in the front here. Certainly these two haven't done terribly well against the Sternsman, and the occasional assistance from the Vargolf. So yeah, again, Thunderers could have been up here blasting away, but no. And again, Miss Micro Longbeards. So I mean, again, I'm not a player of renown or anything like that, but certainly it could have been a little bit better. Okay, so the Thunderers come back up, and just aren't shooting at something. Pick something, anything. The great big Vargolf that's flopping around in the background there. So the Blood Knights haven't been really doing that well. I mean, they've got 26 kills, which is okay, but they could have done better. In the back, the Ironbreakers again, and the Thunderers. So again, Thunderers are still sitting here. They're obstructed, of course, but I mean, you'd be trying to figure something out. I mean, there's a Light King right there, and again, they try and get closer, or something's going on. So, if my die pack weren't all dead, that would be sort of the idea, to chase down routing units to make sure that they keep on routing. Again, pretty much all the Grave Guard dead over this side, and so I think the rationale was, I I should probably find Grombrindle, and if I can kill him, then everybody can terror out. So, send in the White King. White King's not doing terribly well. Stearnsman doing alright, 66 kills, very nice. And really, over here, Vlad is really the linchpin of just a quagmire of zombies and cranky undead animals. So, unfortunately, the Blood Knights have had one too many Slayers to the face, and they're not looking terribly healthy. Also, sort of crumbling, which isn't good. And they're off. So, yep, Quagmire continues here on this flank. Again, Thunderers could have been up there doing something that's slightly more useful. White King's about to buy the farm. Vargolf's been basically running from Slayer Pack to Slayer Pack, or away from Slayer Pack to Slayer Pack. But I think around this time, I figured, well, it's probably a better idea to get him to chase after Grombrindle. So, I mean, the Blood Knights are doing okay, making life difficult for routing units. I mean, we would prefer not to have Thunderers in the late game, especially when they've got practically full ammo. So, not really sure whether these zombies here, the zombies are doing something, but I don't know whether the Grave Guard are actually, well, it says they're in melee, so they're obviously doing something, but it doesn't look like much. Oh, there they are, I guess so. So it is just a slogfest down in the corner here. I mean, the Hammerers and what do we got? Hammerers and Ironbreakers are still pretty healthy in comparison to everything else that's here. Yeah. So basically, we'll see what the old Vargolf's doing. He's hitting people for 6. Oh, I think isn't Grombrindle the Slayer King? No, it's probably somebody else. He's got a big enough axe though. He's not doing terribly well here. Getting shot at, so that's something. But yeah, always having zombies up your sleeve is pretty good. You always make life difficult for pretty much anybody. Also, Vlad, I often use Vlad with the zombie pack as a bit of a meat shield for him. So it's always pretty good. Stearnsman, high fives. They've done a pretty good job. I don't think I could ask for very much more, especially against armoured foes. Thankfully, the Vargolf's got regen, so he's doing quite well. And with these weakened Hammerers and Ironbreakers units, you know, he's doing pretty well. Just took out the last of the Slayers there, the Learners. And, you know, even the Blood Knights are still kicking around, so, I mean, they're not doing terribly well. Also, again, a bit of miss micro. Old Grombrindle's sort of sitting out here thinking about life, waving his axe. But he probably could have been helping his comrades here a little bit better. Especially, oh, they're going to get him, I think that charge missed, largely, its intended target. Maybe knocked off maybe 100 HP out of him. So the Vargolf's still taking names, having a good time. Zombies are doing alright. I don't know why Vlad's going out that direction. Probably shouldn't be. Stearnsman just about had it. 20, and that's it. No. That may have been... Well, it's one of theirs. That's okay. So Vargolf's just having a party. Taking out the Oompa Loompas left, right and centre. So that's good. I like Vargolf's. I've always been very partial to Vargolf's, even from Warhammer 1. So, and it looks like the Graveguard, the Blood Knights are no more. So Grombrindle getting a brief reprise, or reprieve rather. But death comes for the White Dwarf. And here it comes. I thought, oh, you know what? Life isn't too bad. You know, it was a pretty bad battle, but, you know, I had a chance to rethink my life and pop. And that is a dwarf that does not get back up. So once the leader's routed, or dead is preferable than routing, it doesn't take very long for chain route to happen. Power bar, etc. It's just ticked over. Happy Vargolf, happy life. So that was my first battle in quite a while. Certainly my first battle in Warhammer 2, and I'm glad that you were there for it. So yeah, hopefully we can do more of these and build the channel. If you've got any suggestions or things that you're not seeing in other channels that you'd like me to do, I can certainly try, and hopefully we can make this a great channel for everyone. So please subscribe or like, and we'll go from there. Thanks.